Hello my friends, welcome to another Photoshop tutorial. In this video I want to show you how I got this effect in Photoshop CS6. It's a really simple manipulation. In fact, the composition, well, I don't really like it because, I don't know, the background and this woman don't really fit. I mean, what is this woman doing with the bow on a pier? But, well, I don't know. Anyways, I wanted to use an image of a rainforest or jungle, something like that, but I couldn't find anything that I liked, so I used this one, in part because the lighting, well, I liked the lighting of it and also the minimalistic look of the background, and I ended up using this background. But as I say, I don't really like this, they don't really match, but anyways. And what I want to show you is, as I said, how to get this kind of effect, and also how I masked the hair here. You can see we lose no details, and I used really simple masking, and in fact it's a technique that I used in other tutorials, and well, I just wanted to show this again for people that didn't know my technique of dealing with this sort of hair. And well, let me show the original images. I just used these two images. This is the background that I used. It's from Deposit Photos, and you can see it's a really simple long exposure picture of a pier. And then I used this other photo, which is Freeze from Deposit, from DeviantArt, sorry, from an author called, well, he calls himself Jagged Eye. And it's a really high resolution and really good quality studio image, even though it's free. So I encourage you to credit this author. In fact, I'm gonna show you his DeviantArt page. I used his photo in the past on my tutorials, and they have really good images. Let me get his account so you can see you get some really good quality studio images. And here on his gallery you can find this section of stock photos, and I have a lot of images actually. This one is also a good collection of stock photos of, well, military themes, and well, a lot of other stock images that you can use on your compositions. So yeah, this is the author, Jagged Eye. Let's go back to our tutorial. He also makes contests with the photos that he gives, so you can make manipulations and participate on contests. And well, let's go back to Photoshop and start with this. Well, actually I have to go back here and open the background image. You will lose all the texture when you start to paint several times over the area. So this is how our background looks after deleting that cable there. So let's move on and add our model. So let's go to our stock folder and open the image of the model. In fact, I'll open both images. I have the woman already extracted from the background. This is the extracted version and this is the original. Well, I used the pen tool as I always do, but you can use other techniques. This was shot over white background, so you can use several other techniques. You can use selective colors. I don't really like to use these techniques. You can also use the quick selection tool and then use other ways of adjusting the selection. You can use calculations. Let me show you a quick way of using the calculation. So what you do is go to the channels. You can instantly separate her from the background. If I uncheck invert, you can see what happens, or I can invert the channel here and I get this effect, but I think this one was even better, this part here of the boots. But anyways, and once you're done with this, if you have the image like this, press Ctrl Command I to invert it, and then press Ctrl or Command on the keyboard and click on this thumbnail. You can see how it changes, and you will select the contours of everything that is black and white. You can use any technique that you want, but leave some space like that around the hair, and you can get rid of that part there, but leave the hair like this, because we will use another technique that works a lot better than any mask that you could use. press Control Command L, you have to add an adjustment layer instead as a clipping mask. But I will use this, and I'll use the highlights slider to move this a bit towards the left, and also the midtones, but not too much. The midtones controls. The way I changed the opacity and flow here without typing the number, without selecting it, or without using the sliders, is when you select the brush, if you type straight on your keyboard, for example, if I type 15, you can see it changes the opacity. And if you want to change the flow, you have to press the Shift key first and then type the number, for example 12. You can see it changes the flow instead of the opacity. That's how I do it. It's a lot quicker. So you can see even with this opacity and flow is too high, so I'll set them 10% lower, both of them. Okay, and now what I will do is probably decrease the opacity of this to about 50%. Okay, just well, maybe that's too little. Let's set it to 70%. Okay, so we have this soft shadow there, which makes things look a bit more realistic, in my opinion. And I use this filter quite a lot, and for this, I think this is these are the settings for the last time I used it. But you need to make sure that you're not burning the image here, the highlights. See that? So what you can do is decrease the intensity and maybe increase the ambience light a bit, and then the exposure. The exposure affects more the highlights and the intensity as well, while the ambience increases the overall light on the image. So if you see the highlights are too strong, what you can do is decrease a bit the exposure, maybe like that, and then increase the ambience. And the gloss, it also affects the highlights a bit more. So maybe I'll increase the hotspot here, decrease the intensity, increase the exposure. So try to get a similar effect. So let's choose the vibrance, and I set a cross setting here. I decreased the vibrance to -.